Hey everyone, welcome back to Movie Recaps Hub podcast. Today's story is intense, emotional, and honestly pretty heartbreaking. Imagine falling in love with someone who finally gives you the affection and understanding you never had before, only to watch everything around you crumble because the world refuses to let that love exist. That's exactly what happens in the 2019 romantic drama Before the Dawn. Trust me, this one gets deep, so stick around till the end to see how it all unfolds. Alright, let's dive right into it. The movie opens with Jason, our main character, in the middle of a heated argument with his parents. They're upset about his bad grades, and they're scared. His family is poor, his friends are a bad influence, and his brother Michael already ended up in jail. They don't want Jason following that same path. Right afterward, we see Jason selling crack to another student, just like his brother used to before getting arrested. Clearly, this kid's life is heading in the wrong direction. After the school bell rings, a new teacher named Lila introduces herself as the English teacher. She's calm, kind, and has this peaceful vibe about her. Later that evening, after class, a teacher named Andrew introduces himself to her and she tells him he can call her Lila. She talks to her mom on the phone that night and says everything at the new school is going fine. Back at Jason's home, he gets into another argument with his mom for coming home late. She's terrified of losing him the way she lost Michael. At school the next day, Jason stays after class and asks Lila for help with his essay, which is supposed to be about his personal life. Lila gave this assignment to learn more about her students individually, but Jason flips the script and asks her, "What about you? We don't know anything about you." When she asks him what he wants to know exactly, he suddenly runs out of the classroom. As she chases after him, she bumps into Sean, who tells her not to waste her time because Jason is damaged goods. But Lila insists she's a teacher and helping him is part of her job. The next day, Jason presents his essay to the class and completely impresses Lila. Afterward, she tells him she sees talent, potential, and that he can still turn things around. That night, we see Lila at home holding divorce papers. So clearly, she's going through a painful breakup herself. The next morning, Jason heads to school on his bike. Andrew meets with Lila, and they make plans to hang out that night. Meanwhile in class, Lila notices Jason is distracted. He tells her it's because of the pressure from his parents who are scared he'll become like Michael. Lila offers him extra classes every day for 30 minutes. Jason is happy about this and hands her his assignment. Later that evening, Lila goes to a bar with Andrew. They look like they're having a great time. What she doesn't realize is that Jason is also in the same bar quietly watching her. She gets drunk, Andrew gets her a taxi, and she heads home, even though Andrew clearly expected the night to end differently. The next day at lunch, Lila catches Jason sneaking out of school. He skipped her class, so she's angry. Jason begs her not to tell anyone because it'll cause serious trouble for him. She promises she won't because exposing it helps no one. In that emotional moment, Jason holds her hand in a romantic way. She quickly pulls back and tells him he's just teasing her. Later that evening, it's raining, and she's talking to her mom on the phone when suddenly Jason shows up at her door beaten up badly. She hangs up immediately and takes care of him, but Jason refuses to tell her what happened. He gets upset and tries to leave, but she stops him and offers to drive him home. On the way, he asks her to stop somewhere with a beautiful view and tries to kiss her. She pulls away and tells him it can't happen, then drives him home. Before he gets out, she tells him that whatever he thinks is happening between a teacher and a student, it's not possible. The next day at school, they avoid each other completely. Later, Jason's mom finds his grades improving like never before. While she's cleaning his room, she also catches him looking at Lila's pictures on social media. Jason tells her the improvement is because of his new teacher, and his mom becomes happy and curious. Meanwhile, Lila and Andrew meet again at the same bar. Andrew asks way too many questions about her past, and she clearly doesn't want to talk about it. Jason is also at the bar again. When Lila goes to the restroom, he follows. When she comes out, they bump into each other, and there's clear chemistry between them. But Lila forces herself to push it down. At the table, Andrew keeps drinking, but Lila seems distracted. She uses her mom as an excuse and leaves the bar. Sean happens to be there and sees everything. Later that night, Jason knocks on Lila's door. She knows letting him in is a very bad idea, but she still opens the door. One thing leads to another, and they end up having a passionate night together. The next day at school, Lila tries to fix things. She tells Jason that whatever happened between them must be over and that from now on, they must act normal and just have a regular teacher-student friendship. Jason agrees but says he wants to give her a gift first. He asks her to close her eyes and places a necklace around her neck. She's genuinely happy. That evening, she tells her mother she has met someone younger. Her mom is thrilled, but Lila leaves out the part where the person she's talking about is her student. The next day, Jason hides in her car, and they drive off for a picnic. She tells him about her past marriage and how her ex was violent. Jason promises he will never hurt her. They take pictures together even though she knows it's risky, but she's in love, and she goes along with it. One day, while cleaning his room, Jason's mom finds the pictures on his phone. Shocked, she storms to the school to thank Jason's teacher, but immediately realizes the woman in the photos is Lila. She becomes furious and tells Lila to end whatever she thinks she has with her son. The head of the school sees tension but Lila brushes it off. That night at home, Jason gets into a huge fight with his mother. He tells her he loves Lila and that she needs to accept their age difference. He storms out while his dad tries to calm things down. Meanwhile, Lila calls her mom and finally confesses everything. Her mother gets angry and warns her that she could end up in jail. Jason goes to see Lila, but she refuses to let him in. They end up arguing until she orders him to leave. Later, as she sits on her sofa thinking, someone slides a note under her door. It's from Jason. He apologizes and tells her how much he loves her. She opens the door and they hug. He brings her flowers, and they talk about leaving town together. The next day at school, Jason meets her in the compound and asks if she has thought about running away. Andrew sees Jason holding her hand and becomes jealous. He can't believe a student has basically taken his place. That evening, Lila is alone in her classroom when Andrew suddenly assaults her. Later, Jason finds her at home in terrible condition, and she tells him everything. The next day at school, Jason is still furious and gets into a fight with Andrew. The police show up and arrest Jason. Lila feels horribly guilty watching him being taken away. At the police station, Jason's mom gets him released. Lila tries to speak to him, but his mother blocks her and tells her to leave her son alone and go back to where she came from. Jason doesn't attend school after that, and Lila becomes more stressed and guilty. She meets Andrew privately and warns him not to press charges against Jason. If he does, she'll expose his assault. She also forces him to resign, and he has no choice. Jason is eventually allowed back in school, but Lila has made up her mind. She decides to leave town without Jason. He's heartbroken watching her go, and that's where the movie ends. And that is the full story of Before the Dawn, a film full of emotion, pain, and choices that change to lives forever. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Movie Recaps Hub podcast for more storytelling style movie breakdowns. Thanks for listening and I'll see you in the next one.